Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Jamil. We are going to analyze weekly time frame on Alibaba stock, then daily, then 50-minute time frame. So let's start with weekly time frame first. Last week we discussed this week will going to be volatile week because it's a very wide range for the previous candle. So trending will only going to be possible if it is breakout or if it is breakdown. Each side breakout or breakdown, trending will only going to be possible. As long as market will going to be traded in between this candle, market will going to be volatile week. We already discussed, and no doubt this week market completely was become gap up, gap down, continuously was become doing that. But we don't get scared because already we had a plan that market may going to be do that. Hit the like button if you see in our previous time. Exactly, we discussed on that. We also discussed if it is breakout, if it is completely volatile. In volatile stage we need to reduce our quantity because we can planning to trade aggressively, because volatile means market can travel both sides, and you can see market almost travel upside, even downside, in closing somewhere in between. So I hope you understand this price point of the market. So let's see how we can planning for the next week which side market can travel. And still is on weekly time frame, it's not a confirmation which side market can travel. It's not even confirmation for the upside, either it's not a confirmation for the downside, because market closed somewhere in between. But one important point I want you to know, that this range will going to be the most important range. This support will going to be the most important support. If support will going to be breakdown, then we can see aggressively selling for this week. Market can be sharply fall down till his support level, which is 83, 82 or even 81. We can see this level aggressively because we can see buyer try to go on higher side, which is existing 120. No doubt it's a resistance level. Buyer try to go on there, but the moment try to go on there, it's a sharp selling. Even on here this week, buyer try to go on that breakout on resistance level, it's a sharp selling. That means higher level are not getting sustained by the buyer. So if it's not sustaining on the higher side, which side it will go? No doubt it's a breakout. It will be the breakdown. So for the breakdown, this level will have to be closing candle. We will cover on smaller time frame, but I'm just giving you the idea how market can be fall down for weekly time frame. This week, this support will going to be the important support. If any candle closing that to be in a shorter time frame, market can be sharply fall down, and we have to be our target longer, because there is no any important support to hold the market, and this is the last time our market has been pulled back from here. So no doubt if this level going to be breakdown, market can be sharply fall down till his support level, which is 83 or even 82. So remember this point. So let's take the direct time frame, how market can travel for this week. In daily time frame, there's a few important price point. Market making very good important price point on here. You can see here last week we discussed it's a breakout level. It's a breakout level, and market already breakout in last week. After breakout, it was pausing on here. We discussed generally after breakout, market will come down on his previous support. After support, it will be continuously on upside momentum if it is buyer are interested in the market. If buyer are not interested, generally after breakout, it will be come for the support, then it will be completely start spending the time near on his resistance level. It's a sign it will be breakout, it will be breakdown in future. Hit the like button if you remember, and even if you see in our previous analysis, exactly we have done discuss similarly on this kind of things. And you can see after breakout, it generally after breakout, it's definitely come down on his support level. Buyer try to go on a pullback from this support, but not able to strength on here, and as you can see, it's a very sharply fall down, and it's almost 1, 2, 3 to 4 days market already start spending the time on his resistance level. It's a sign that market can be breakdown. And I think about 2.5 months ago, when I was starting this channel, market was trading on here. We discussed on in our, I think, second or first video, when market was trading on here, we discussed this is going to be a very strong resistance for the market. Market started creating resistance here on the top, because we can see here the buyer candle are getting smaller. The moment my buyer are not a confidence, buyer are not adding on that stage, generally market will going to be made this kind of candle. And another important point, the moment market will going to make this kind of big candle that to be seller candle on the top, it's an important sign that market started creating strong resistance on the top side, and after top side market can be fall down. And I still can remember we discussed some of our previous video when I was starting this channel. We discussed if this range breakout, we can see aggressively selling till $100. You can see after breakout this level, market didn't even wait or start to not even spending the time. It's just sharply fall down till it's $100. So I hope you understand this point. Similarly, market start to making similar sign that it may can act as a strong resistance on that level. You can see here it's a very big candle, and this also big candle, and this candle also we can consider is a big candle. So market started making big candle here on the top. Remember, for the lifetime, if you see if you see here the top side market making this kind of big candle, first things you should be in your mind that this range is going to be resistance level. It is the not the range we can planning to buy on here. It is the place where we can sell aggressively on here after certain level breakout. If any certain level will be breakdown, then we can plan to sell aggressively on here. For this range, important level going to be $100. No doubt 100 level is most important support for the market. Remember, any candle closing that to be in 50-minute time frame for intraday, any candle closing below 100 level, we can planning aggressive selling. We are not going to be wait for any confirmation. We can plan to sell aggressively on here. And generally market, if $100 not going to be sustained, only if not going to be sustained, the next support will going to be 83, 84 near on this range. Market can be sharply fall down. So the most important things 100. Let's take the 50-minute time frame, how we can plan to take a trade for intraday. On 50-minute time frame, I want to share with you a few important price point, how we can understand the behavior of the price. So last day on a Friday, no doubt it's a 10 to 12% gap up. After 12% or I think 10 to 11% gap up, it's a sharp selling. So if you asked me why this sharp selling on happen, I want to tell you two important points. Remember, if anything huge gap up, then you have to see two things. First things, what is the trend on previous time? If you will look at the previous trend, it's a negative sign. So no doubt it's a negative sign, it's a gap up, but it doesn't mean it's a negative sign gap up it must have to be negative again. I'm not saying that, but remember how you can understand. Generally, if it is negative closing and opening and gap up, chances are very high it can react in a positive side. But the moment how we can understand if it is not reacting positive or it is coming for the downside. Suppose it's a negative closing in previous time. The moment 10% gap out, market, if it is about to go on upside, it doesn't make this kind of deep correction. The moment it's making a deep correction, it's a sign market can be downside. But the moment after making a slightly selling, then immediately pull back. If anything pull back, that to be in 5-minute time frame after making price action, then you can understand yes, this gap up are going to be sustained. But if it start making deep correction, and generally this support have to be support, if this support need to be react as a buying, but there is no any buying scenario, then this is you can already get a confirmation this support is not reacting as a buying side, and after gap up it's continuously start making deep correction. That means chances are very high market can be fall down from here. It's the first sign. Second sign, how you can understand and this gap are going to be sustained or not. For this you have to go back at previous time, what exactly market had done, what exactly market had react on that range. If you go in previous time, you can see here similar range after gap down is a sharp selling, another slightly gap up is a sharp selling, but this seller not able to fill the gap, so that means gap was pending on here. But no doubt next day is a sharp gap down, is a sharp selling, but it's separate things. But you can see here on a Friday market exactly open on that range, but already we discussed that this range already market reacting as a selling side, again slightly gap up, again the selling side. So chances are very, but this range seller not able to fill the gap, but it was the best chance for the seller to fill the gap. Exactly market had done that. Even if you learn that concept after opening gap up gap down, also you can get a very good trade if you start to practicing on that concept. You can see after gap up market not able to sustain. If 50-minute time, 5-minute time frame, you can also go and check out, it's completely start to falling down after gap up on that range, and after gap down continuously selling, and finally fill the gap exactly market closing on his previous closing. So I hope you understand all this point. It's a very important price point. Generally market work like that. It's all on probability. It's not a confirmation. It is my experience. I just find out after seeing the price. I learn from the price. So I hope you understand. And if you learn something, hit the like button and let me know in the comment box if you want to learn more interested about the price behavior. So let's check how we can planning for a Monday. On Tuesday, market is holiday on Monday. How we can planning for next on Tuesday. As we plan, 100 will going to be the most important support for the market. We are going to be wait as long as we are going to be wait as long as market is going to be traded on here. The more will going to be a good scenario for us, because generally after sharp selling, market need to accumulate. This accumulate means it's a seller accumulate. Seller accumulate means chances very high. If it is breakdown, it can be more deep correction for the market. Suppose if it is sharp selling, it's the first pullback. If again it's a breakout, again it's getting breakdown 100 level, then chances are very high it can be immediately reversed, because a seller not get accumulated. But the moment after sharp selling, market is started to become sideways on here on this resistance, here on this support level. It's a good sign for us, because we planning to sell on here and market getting accumulated by the seller. So as long as accumulate will be sustained, we are not going to be trade anything. But the moment start to candle closing below $100, we can plan to sell aggressively on the market. So I hope you understand all of this point, friend. And for intraday, if anything gap up, then we'll be ignore the trade. We are not going to plan to trade anything, because if anything gap up, you can see here it's the resistance. Each and every sign, each and every higher swing will going to be resistance. If it is gap up, then it will going to be volatile, and this swing will going to be supports, and it will be completely volatile. You are not going to be trade if anything gap up, or if anything gap up. If anything gap down, as we plan, 100 level going to be important support. If anything candle closing, we must need a candle closing, because you can see here on 100 level, seller try to sell on here, but sharp immediately pull back, market become positive on here. For this, we need a confirmation by candle closing below 100 level, then we can plan to sell aggressively on here. So I hope you understand all of this point, friend. If you understand, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Thank you, and thank you very much.